Every year in our stewardship campaign, one of the most meaningful things we do, at least I think it's one of the most meaningful things we do, is to talk to folks about why they give to the church, what makes stewardship important to them. And this year we're going to do it a little different. We're going to do it in an interview format, and I'm going to talk today to Susan Joe Couturier. Susan Joe has been active in our church for several years in a whole variety of ways. And so I'm going to ask her a couple of questions about why stewardship is important to her. So last Sunday we had a process in which Pastor Carol led us through of choosing a single word to describe our church. What was the word that you chose?
Welcoming.
Okay, so what does that mean to you?
Well, as Pastor Carol says, when you walk through the doors, you belong. And there's always someone that usually greets you when you come in, you know, someone with a smile. You feel welcome when you come in. You don't feel like you're walking into a strange place. And you feel comfortable enough that you keep coming back.
Okay. So when you moved to, when did you move to Rhode Island?
We've been here 12 years.
12 years, okay. So when you moved here, you made a decision to come to the United Methodist Church, and how'd you make that decision?
Well, living in New Jersey, I belong to a Methodist church there. I had been going there for about 18 years.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, trying to find the right church up here, my daughter Jacqueline and my son-in-law Matt had moved up back to Rhode Island. Matt is from here originally. So they had found the Methodist church on Main Street, and I started to go there and eventually transitioned to this church.
Okay. Now, you've given generously to the church financially as well as with your time and your talents. So thinking first about your financial support, can you say something about how you decide what your commitment will be?
Well, Lee and I are both on a fixed income since we're both retired. So I'll discuss it with him, and we give what we can. Sometimes we wish we could give more. It depends on what happens throughout the year. You have unexpected finances, but mostly it's we know what's coming in and we know what we can give to the church.
Yeah. So is that a hard decision for you when you go through that?
Yes, because not only giving to the church, we do give to outside organizations.
Of course. Yeah.
One of the organizations we sponsor a child in Kenya, so that's a commitment that we keep. And there are some other organizations that we want to give to. We wish we could give to everybody, but unfortunately we can't.
Sure. Oh, so from your perspective, what's the best thing about supporting the church in the way that you do?
Giving back. There was a time in my life when I was a single parent raising 2 children, and the church was there for me through difficult times when I was struggling. And the hardest part was asking for help. And without question, they were there. When Jackie was sick, they were there. So it's my way of giving back and being able to maybe help someone else that's not as fortunate, or an organization that needs the money.
Okay, now looking at the other ways that you give to the church, and you give to the church in a lot of ways. I mean, you've helped with Sunday school, you help with Vacation Bible School, you work with the fellowship committee, you do communion. What's been the most challenging thing that you've done?
Trying to find the right committee that fits. I've tried been on different committees, and sometimes I felt I didn't have the talents to be on that committee. So trying to find what worked for me and where I can help,
yeah,
and they could benefit from the gifts that I would be able to offer.
So, and what's been most rewarding about your volunteer work with things?
Well, of course, I like being on worship and fellowship. But I guess one of the most rewarding is being Vacation Bible School, is seeing the children. It is an exhausting week, but a very fun week. And to know that you're changing the mind of a child and their smiles on their faces, I enjoy and look forward to being able to help in Vacation Bible School.
So lastly, is there anything you'd like particularly to say to the congregation about this topic?
we all have talents, and some of us don't realize how well our talents are.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is find your niche in the church. Ask questions, see where you can volunteer, and you'll be rewarded and blessed in the long run.
Thank you, Susan Joe. That was great.